Okay. Hi, my name is Iva Istratijević, and I'm assistant professor in merchandising here at University of North Texas. I'm teaching sustainability classes, and the scope of my research is sustainability. Today we have a really great person here visiting us. This is my friend from Slovenia, Dr. Urška Vrabić-Brodnjak, and she's one of the biggest experts in the area of sustainable packaging nowadays. So I think this is really a rare privilege that I have here to host you, Urška, and say welcome. And today we're going to present some of the solutions for sustainable packaging that both of us were researching in the last 2 years. We're going to discuss the solution itself, and then, of course, maybe benefits of using that packaging instead of conventional packaging solutions. So I would like to start with the first one that is used in apparel sector. Here are some examples of the packaging. Do you want to start with the first one that is insert?
Yes.
And then explain us what we have here. I think this is like a common insert that you can see if you purchase something from Amazon. You will get a lot of these plastics.
Yes, absolutely. Before I start, thank you for inviting me. Thank you. I very enjoy working with you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to visit UNT and to see how UNT works in the sustainable way, which I'm really amazed. So we will start with the first one. Absolutely, this is the bubble wrap, so-called. It's very useful if you want to protect some kind of product, but it's plastic, right? So it's mostly used from the polyethylene and this kind of materials, synthetic materials, that then end in the landfill. It's hard to recycle and so on, and that's why it's urgent to find some substitutes. It's important, of course, to have the product, to have the insert, and to protect the product that comes to the consumer, but still, what then? So this is the main point when we want to find the right solution. That means that we have to protect some kind of item that's coming, and then what to do with this insert after. So,
can you tell us, Urška, if we discard this plastic insert in the natural environment, how long it would take that item, that particular insert, to, let's say, decompose?
Yeah, many years, 1,000. Yeah,
1,000 years.
Yes, it's really bad. Why it's bad? Because, of course, it ends in the landfills, it ends in the water, in the soil. And what's the most problematic thing is that from this part of plastic becomes a microplastic, a plastic that you cannot see it. It can come to our body, we can inhale it, and so on. So that's why we are trying to find something else to be more protective environmentally and also for the humans, of course.
Yes, and what I can see here in our environment, let's say in America, like these are kind of inserts that people usually discard in a regular trash bin, right? So in other words, then it goes directly to the landfill. However, sometimes they would discard this plastic insert into recyclable trash bin, which is also not the ideal option, right? So if they discard this in the recyclable trash bin, can we recycle this item completely?
If the facility, if you have the industry, the company who can recycle the polyethylene, polypropylene bags, it can recycle. It can recycle this bubble wrap into bottles, into other items. But if you have the facility that recycles paper and not the plastic, then you actually do more damage.
Yes.
So it's very important how certain country, certain city or region has the waste management process. In Europe, we have plastic recycling facilities, and we can do that. So some parts of the plastic packaging we can recycle and then produce other packaging materials.
I see. So it's not just installing the trash bin, right? It is also about educating
Exactly.
consumers and
Yeah.
students in this case how to discard right item in the right place and then under right conditions, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes also we have compostable bins, but then we don't have, let's say, industrial conditions for composting. And this is another story. I know we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So what about the other inserts that we have here?
We have here this, let's say, polystyrene inserts that are very useful and mostly used in the boxes. When you buy shoes, when you buy some electronic devices, you get this type of inserts. What's problematic here, and this is even worse than the bubble wrap, is this, the microplastic from here. Many years, more than 1,000 years, they say it will took to degrade, and this polystyrene is really fragile, so you can see how easily it can be put it to two pieces and you get this microplastics. You cannot get as simple here, but here is really the worst one. So it's useful if you pack some delicate materials and products, of course, to protect with this. So it's important to also find the solutions for that, because sometimes you don't need just the bubble wrap, you just need something like this. And in Europe, this type of material is prohibited. No as inserts, no as food packaging, nowhere. Just in the construction, in the civil engineering, there's still this because it's a good isolating. They have good isolating properties, but it's limited in which conditions can be used. So,
Yes.
but not like in the consumers type of packaging.
I know here in America we can buy this kind of cups made from styrofoam to drink coffee, let's say. They are still sold, and there are so-called dollar stores where you can purchase a whole bag of plastic glasses for the coffee. So it's still widely spread in America. Unfortunately, now we know the disadvantages of those products. Okay, and here is better sustainable product that replaces the one that we just discussed.
Yeah, this is bio-based. That means that is produced from materials from nature. We have such kind in Europe that are made from starch, that are white. These are green, as you can see, and it's produced from hop. We have a lot of hop in Europe. This plant is used to produce beer and other beverages. And since they have some leftovers, some waste, then they decided to do some solutions from that. And since the polystyrene is banned, they say, the few companies, that they have a good and better solution for that, so they can produce this. They have the same properties, as you can feel it. It's still like a foam.
Yes.
It also can break, but this time it doesn't break into microplastics. This would degrade in the landfill. We have some of these also that are edible. We cannot eat those, but they exist. So there's also a one solution that could be done here.
I like that you mentioned that example because last year, if you remember, we did research on sustainable packaging in the apparel industry, and then we found one Mexican brand that is selling bags retailer, and they have really great solution where they use sustainable packaging. They are filling the bags with eatable packages and inserts, basically. So that was for me very innovative. I don't remember that I saw that that kind of solution is used anywhere.
Yes, exactly. That was one of the rare brands actually that use edible packaging. They tried and exists some packaging in the food sector, but the problem with the edible packaging is when you produce it, the material is yellowish. It's hard to get this transparent and pure material, and for the consumers can be sometimes really not so nice and looking good to eat something like that. So there is always a challenge also on that side.
Okay, thank you. What we have next here?
Here's a solution for the bubble wrap.
Okay.
We have a bubble wrap, and then, of course, since it was banned, they produced this kind of paper. You can see it's a paper and it has like small cuts inside. It looks like a really transparent paper, but when you do that, this appears. The 3D structure that is extremely useful. That means that you get the space and the full structure of some kind of material that could be wrapped in a way as bubble wrap. That means that it also protects the product, but still it's environmentally friendly regarding the process. This is the craft, simple paper produced from resource that could be either recycled or could be also degradable.
Yes, and
So there's
now
a good-
another comparison when you showed how it looks when you just, let's say, pretend to pack something.
Yeah.
It is much lighter,
Yes,
and right, it takes a little less space than the plastic version.
yes, absolutely. This kind of material is also less used. It's simple to be produced because it's like a paper sheet. Then you just during the process they made these cuts, and of course this happens when some consumers company use it to pack some kind of product into the box. So I think this is a great solution for the bubble wrap.
I have one question. Can we say, for example, that we can use this kind of wraps that are
Yes.
improved?
Yes, absolutely. It can be made from recycled paper. We also have solutions that only the stripes of the paper, of the newspaper, is used to wrap and to ship the item. So that's not the only solution. We could also just have a simple waste newspaper or packaging material that can be cut on the stripes, and then you get some of the 3D structure, something like that you can protect and ship the product.
And that's really phenomenal discovery, because in other words, we want to say that not all waste that we have at our homes is really waste. It does have value, right? So there is inherent value. In other words, we can recycle it or reuse it, and those packaging solutions do have multiple purposes.
Absolutely.
So we need really to think circularly how we
Yes.
can reuse things that we already produce in a certain way. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, absolutely. We can talk about reuse, repurpose as we did on our research, because there are many ways how to repurpose, recycle, reuse, or redefine certain packaging, and that is a really good example.
Okay, thank you. What about solutions that we have now in the food industry?
Yeah, well, we have here food packaging materials that are currently in the European market and are very commonly used. This is paper or cardboard, a small box where vegetables are sold. That means that here were small tomatoes, and over the top it can be bio-based, or let's say biodegradable is most of the time, biodegradable foil, and you can bring this home. Why they put the biodegradable foil if it's tomato? Because of the pandemic, every packaging, it was before, let's say without that, but when the pandemic came, during the hygiene processes and everything else, they start to pack certain vegetables and so on. I think you also observed that here in the US, but in Europe we saw that some items were not packed before, but are again packed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I still think they are packaging even apples.
Yes.
Like each apple would be wrapped.
Yes.
Individually.
Yeah. We had polyethylene, that means synthetic materials, plastics, regular plastics was before, but now we have such kind of trays. These are 100% compostable. You also see that when we talk about or these raw materials produced from nature are usually more yellowish. This is one example how it looks like, and that means that here are packed certain food items, let's say a salami or cheese. Here can be some vegetables or fruits, and after that you can discard into the bin where it says compostable. This is industrial composting. That means that it will be composted fully into organic items, to water, to carbon dioxide, and you get another, let's say, bio-waste from that.
Yes. So we don't have currently compostable bins available here at our campus, but also in the cities. There are some cities in US that are experimenting with compostable bins, but I think this is really the future. Mm-hmm. So currently we do have regular bin where you can discard any kind of trash, and then you have the other bin that is just for recyclable items. But having compostable bin would be really a challenging process, I would say, for consumers, because first we really need to understand that, for example, some items we cannot put in compostable bin, right? Because, mm-hmm. for example, they will decompose in different kind of temperatures, right? So we do mm-hmm. need also additional instruction that this product, let's say, is compostable in the industrial compost.
Yes.
And then part of the things that we can decompose in our home in a special bin, let's say food ingredients, we can use, for example, for our garden as a soil mm-hmm. for our mm-hmm. garden.
Yes, absolutely. That's why in Europe we have certified companies and labels that mm-hmm. say home composting or industrial composting, mm-hmm. that you know what to put in certain bins. But what's the most important is when you start with this kind of processes and how to manage waste at homes, it's important to have the background, to have the facilities, and to educate people mm-hmm. How they will do. It was very challenging for our country, it was challenging in Europe, how to educate people, because in a really short time we received many bins in the household, so there was a process years that we managed to get the knowledge where to put certain type of packaging.
If you, let's say, get confused as a consumer and discard things in the wrong bins, what would be the penalty? Is there any kind of penalty?
Yes, it is. There are high penalties from 100 euros above. Of course, the inspectors are at the beginning are not so strict. They say, be careful what you do, try to recycle, but if this happens again and again, then of course you get a fine, and they can be really high. So it's important how we recycle, how we collect the waste at homes, and how do we put them into the right bins.
Okay, great introduction for next product. So we have here plastic and bioplastic cutlery, yeah. right?
So if you see these two knives, I brought knives from Slovenia. It's hard to say which one is plastic, right? 100%. If you look closely, maybe if you would look under the UV light, it will be hard to say. But this one is 100% compostable. That means that you can put it into the composting bin or leave it on the industrial, and this one is 100% plastic. So it can be done. Since we have in Europe banned the one-time used plastic knives, forks, and so on, we don't have these types mm-hmm. of materials on the market. We have only this kind. These are 100% compostable, and are usually made from the sugar cane mm-hmm. because it's enough. It has enough mechanical and good mechanical properties and so on. So you see, this one is compostable, and this one is more yellowish, brown, and so on, and this one is really, really white and can be composed. So it's not the color that plays the role, it's the material construction and structure. So it is the same with the straws. You have here the plastic straws, we have biodegradable, we have paper, and also we have metal ones. So no more plastic straws in Slovenia and in Europe.
Yes. Currently, I can see in our market here in US both solutions. But of course, this one with conventional plastic is cheaper, therefore it's more spread. But this one, for example, for consumers, it's hard for us to recognize, right? Unless there is instruction, like the instruction you have here, 100% compostable, they wouldn't know how to discard. Even if they buy, let's say, improved solution, maybe they would put that improved solution in a trash because they think it is not compostable. But for example, if it is made from 100% plastic, it can be recyclable, right?
Right.
So as a consumer in US, I would just discard plastic straws and plastic cutlery in a recyclable trash bin. And unless we have compostable cutlery, which we can discard in a compostable industrial bin.
Yes, exactly. If you have, for example, since you have both solutions, in Europe we don't have, we have only, at least in Slovenia, just biodegradable or compostable plastics for one-time use, then you have no other solutions. If you have both, it will be difficult because I don't believe people will go and read that this is 100% compostable. So if you put such kind of material into the plastic, it is not harm because it will be like maximum till 10% of compostable plastic into the regular plastic, and it still means that could be recycled. But if this amount of plastic increase, that means the compostable plastic, then it's trouble with the recycling materials after. But in this manner, since you don't have at the moment the compostable solutions to recycle, to compost, then of course it's difficult to recognize what to do with certain item.
True, and I'm just curious, I don't know if you have that kind of information, if you discard, let's say, 100% plastic cutlery in the regular trash bin, what would happen? How long it would take that plastic spoon to degrade? Can that plastic spoon degrade eventually in 100 years?
Yes, over.
Maybe
Yes,
over 100
Yes,
years.
Absolutely.
So you can see how our impact on our natural environment is really huge, even though if you are talking about just this small product.
Yeah.
Actually, this one.
Yeah. So maybe one food packaging that I would mention, since we don't have the plastic one, we have some good solutions for those lids. You have still in plastic here. We have made, it looks like a cardboard. You can touch it. It looks like paper, but it's made from the sugar cane. It's also very durable. It can be, you can put here some soup or some beverages, everything. It works very well because it's coated with some natural materials. And it works,
Now, when you are mentioning coatings, I don't think that we said or mentioned anything about additional things that we are adding on a package, right? So do you want to mention maybe labels or coatings or?
Yeah. Sometimes you don't need coatings. For this example, you just need a box and you put some tomatoes. But if you are doing some more delicate food, because food packaging and pharmaceutical packaging or in medicine, it's very important how things are treated, how is with microbial properties and so on. That's why you need some certain coatings. Even it's maybe sometimes it's a little bit shiny, but in these cases or somewhere here, it could be really thin, and that's some bio-based coating, like from starch, from phytosan, that protects the food that comes into the contact with this. Because still, this is paper. You have small fibers from cellulose and so on, and they of course can get into the food, and you don't want that. So that's always a good solution, but it's such a broad field of coatings in the market that it's really, we should need another webinar to do that.
Yes, I agree, but the point is that you don't mix conventional coating with biodegradable product, because then again it will not be biodegradable.
Absolutely,
so we
absolutely.
Need to have 100% of biodegradable content, including labels and coatings and solution itself.
Yeah, that's a very good point actually, because what's happening at the market, still we have synthetic adhesives that you can glue the certain parts. You have here the paper that it's could be recycled, and then you glue this box with the synthetic adhesives. So this it's hard then to recycle. You need more processes, you use more chemicals and so on. So we are doing in this direction, not to produce only the packaging material itself, but also how to combine it, how to fold it, and how to ship it. So it's important to have the bio-based coatings and also the adhesives that glue together the box.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, we can move to another solution, which is probably the thing that we carry the most, right? Because we are talking now about bags.
Yes,
bags.
yes. Here are the plastic bags. We have them in Europe. We have them in Slovenia, so you can use them, no problem. These are known. And then we put these plastic bags into the plastic packaging, and it's recycled fully. But what was the most problematic when we started to put the food, let's say the waste of the food and other biodegradable products into the bins for that, you cannot put it here in this type of packaging. So the companies started to produce and to make bio-based and biodegradable bags for the packaging. Looks like that. You can see here says the bio-based. It's not so transparent because it doesn't need to. That means that you put inside here some food waste, let's say from apples or some potato peels, even eggshells, something like that, and then you just prepare it. Also, what's important, because of the legislation, we have here, maybe it will be better seen here, that says it's compostable. So all these beans go together to the compostable facility. All the biodegradable products that we have in this special cans goes to the composting, and so you can put this inside. That means that you don't need to collect the waste in some pots or somewhere because it has smell, it degrades eventually. So you can put it here and just leave it there. Safely, exactly.
And again,
not in this.
You don't mix plastic with biodegradable components.
Yes, exactly. You don't mix everything.
Okay, thank you. Here we are still using single plastic packaging. It is not banned. I know in some countries they did ban. I was reading about Canada, Australia. So I hope, even China. So I hope that we will get there soon, because still one single-use plastic packaging is widely spread.
Yeah, we started with the polyvinyl chloride packaging in stores. You can still get the bag when you buy certain items in the food stores and so on, they pack you. But in Slovenia, you cannot get it. You have to buy it, and it's paper or it's bio-based. So you don't have the solution. So this was the first step towards the sustainable cities and countries.
Okay, thank you. What do we have next?
We have here some interesting, unusual packaging, I would say. Bio-based also, that were prepared and produced for certain items and are quite unusual. I find this packaging really interesting. It's from certain company that it was produced for the commercial purposes. That's cardboard, that means made from paper, from cellulose fibers, and it's also coated with bio-based coating. You see it's a little bit shiny also, and it says here it's renewable. You see, so you can either recycle it or compost it. So what was in here? There was a championship in the ski jumping in Slovenia, and this company that comes from north of Europe prepared these items, and they packed here plants, a small plant or a small tree, and they give it to the people that came to the game and they can see it. And I think that's a really good idea. And here is also the instructions, how you plant this tree, so it helps to promote. Why this company? Because they are producing cardboard and paper, and they are some kind, in a way, educating people what to do with this kind of materials.
Great example. I didn't see something like that.
When it was pandemic, there's of course a problem with beverages, with the takeout packaging and so on. So one of the companies in Italy invented this kind of packaging. It's like, they say it's a eco pack, and here you can see it's also brown. You have here a certain coating. I don't know which one because it's protected with a patent, and they have beverages inside here. So they pure some alcohol, non-alcoholic drink. They pure it here, give it to you, just seal it with this kind of, this is biodegradable also, seal, and you can just brought it then back. You can see here the window. So all the packaging is...
yes, there is instruction for
recycling. There are instructions, and you can see it's recyclable. You have here also the indicator, that's this, that you see that it's warm or it's cold. So the whole process.
Yeah, very, very clear instructions.
Yeah. Then is the next solution. This is the paper bag we use when we buy bread and bakery in Slovenia. And it was quite problematic when we start with the recycling process and so on, that these bags were paper bags, but they had like plastic part here. You see this transparent. So one of the companies, of course, came to the idea that we should find better solution. So they prepared this type of paper. It's very light, and here is the bio-based foil. It's transparent so that it doesn't confuse the consumers what to do with that, and you can put all this into the paper, to the plastic. It will be okay for the biodegradable. It will go both ways.
I'm not sure about those solutions here in States. I'm trying not to purchase bread at all, but this is really fantastic how they combine paper and bioplastic.
Yeah, so it works. You can combine different types of materials. We have here some tubes. They're popular for, they're very strong. You can see, you can feel it. It's used for different fragile materials or even for the food. We have here in Slovenia, we pack in smaller packaging tea or other herbs. So inside of this layer of paper material, you have a biopolyethylene. That is a different way of production. Polyethylene, we know it's synthetic material, but we have also other solutions. It's polyethylene that's produced from the sugar cane. So we have less emissions and so gas emissions and so on, and it protects perfectly. So this type of material can be recycled 100%.
And it's really strong, good quality, so I think it can be also reused.
Absolutely, yes.
For the same or different purpose even.
Yeah, consumers reuse them, so that means that they fill again with the herbs and so on. So it's very useful packaging. We know all these tubes for creams and so on, moisturizers, even for color hair products. This is typical. It looks like typical, but what's the main advantage here? That in the middle of this is the layer of the side product when they produce cheese. There's one layer of foil, you cannot see it, it's really, really thin. So there was one patent from the Slovenian company, they produced that, and it's very useful for the environment. This is also the biodegradable packaging, and it can be. What is a little bit challenging here, it depends what do you put inside. Here, if you put food, there's no problem. If you put, of course, color, this should be hair color or other products that are maybe more problematic. They have to be washed before they are recycled. So there's always one step in this case that should be taken into the consideration.
So I think this is really difficult because when you're packaging, let's say, food or some kind of chemical components, like in the case of hair color, then those components can be transferred to the package,
Yes.
right? Change
Yes.
color or properties. So it's not like we can pack something into anything,
Yeah.
right? We need really to be careful how and what we are using when we are packaging
Yes.
food or creams that contain chemicals. Or
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you can see how broad is the field of the food packaging, and you need less at the apparel and the footwear products to protect them in food, in let's say medical devices, medicine, and so on. It's very important what kind of packaging you use, and as you said, if there will be any, we say, migration from the packaging to the food, to the product, and vice versa to the other side, that it can be, of course, harmful, of course, for the humans. So that's the biggest challenge.
Great, thank you so much. I think that in this presentation there are a lot of information that students can use, but also general consumers can use to improve their consumption habits, and I hope also disposition habits as well, because it's really important that we reduce the amount of waste we are discarding every day. I just want also to encourage you to stop using package unless you have to, because there are so many stores where you can buy and purchase things in bulk, so you can go there with your bag, reusable bag, and reuse the same package over and over. And also we can see the increase of stores that are not providing any kind of package. And here also this is a growing trend. So I really hope that as consumers we will become more responsible, and when we are going to the stores, and not necessarily purchase everything in 2, 3 or more even packages, unless we have to or we don't have other choice.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm pleased that I've seen many stores here in US that they have or refillable solutions, or they have no bags and you come with your own, so it goes in the right direction. Yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much for your time and
Thank you.
For visiting us. I hope that you enjoyed this short webinar on sustainable packaging solutions across, I would say, 3 industries, because we did discuss usage of sustainable packaging solution in apparel industry, in food industry, cosmetic industry, in combination with other general products. So thank you so much, and I hope that we're going to host you next year again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.